Hello there. I hope that you enjoyed the TED Talk and you really were able to answer and reflect on some of the questions that were asked of you. And I hope that this is helping you really connect building capacity in others and coming up with your own ways to implement ways to build capacity in others within your roles. I think that it's being able to make these connections will allow you to implement these practices, not just in your professional lives, but personally as well. In this next section, we are going to be talking about professional development and how that links to enhancing multicultural competence, and how you can link that as a leader and a manager, a supervisor and advisor in the students that you serve or the people who report to you. Creating a social justice framework should be at the utmost importance whenever it comes to the performance evaluations that you should continually do with your staff and your students. Being able to do this will allow students to be vulnerable and make you as a supervisor and advisor more inspirational and more open so that students and people who report to you feel more comfortable reaching out to you with questions, concerns that they may have, or to report some inequity that they may be facing or a challenge that they may be facing in their personal or professional lives. These practices will allow you to be an inspirational leader and to continually build capacity and enhance human experiences as you interact with students and people who report to you, as well as people on your team and who are not part of your team. An example and a way that I encourage you to continually build capacity and in the professional development that you create is I cannot encourage you enough to communicate with your staff regularly and do performance evaluations regularly. I cannot express this enough. Being transparent and being welcoming in your dialogue will allow your team and your students feel much more comfortable in approaching you with their issues. An exercise that I have done in the past and have had managers who I've really looked up to, and they've done this in the past, is an exercise called Start, Stop, and Continue. And so it is gathering your team in a group and asking them what is something or some ways that things that I need to be doing to start implementing, which is going to best assist you. What am I doing now that I need to stop? And what am I doing that is working well now and that I should continue to do? And then um, be able to provide reasonings behind your answers to these questions. And that way you're getting transparent feedback from your team, and then you can be much more comfortable in providing feedback for your team and their performance evaluations. Conversations about multicultural competence should be a pretty open conversation that happens regularly with your students and with your team. And you should not make it something that you just talk about when someone has done something wrong or there's been some sort of error from the student or team member who reports to you. We don't want multicultural competence to sound like something that will be implemented and be disciplined on because we want to continually educate people and broaden people's multicultural competence. This can be done throughout the employee or student life cycle from the admissions process all the way to graduation, and being sure that you are having these vulnerable conversations and these very transparent conversations in lectures, in advising sessions, in different departments that are regularly implemented and are now the normal within the departments. In the employee life cycle, you can start by asking interview questions whenever you're interviewing candidates, or if you offer or require a cover letter or interest level in your department, have one of the prompts that a new employee or a prospective employee would answer to regarding multicultural competence and their experiences of that in the past. You can also do this with your professional development, orientation, and within different human resources and human services departments that employees will seek guidance from should they need to be connected with resources within their professional careers. The performance process should be clear and very, very specific, and it should be very, very informal. It doesn't have to be a formal conversation. We want the employee to feel comfortable in asking questions and comfortable in that dialogue. And being able to connect diversity related goals and other professional development goals to the performance of your employees or even your students. It's an intentional way to help your staff enhance their multicultural competence and the way that they are able to build capacity in their roles. So you're really knowledge sharing in order to enhance the most experiences as possible and to educate your team so that you are all on the same page and on a level playing field. Lastly, it's important to create goals. Goals for your students, goals for your team, and goals for yourself. And it's also important to create goals within your department so that you can work towards your goals to continually be create an engaging area and continually build capacity and enhance and multicultural competence whenever and however you can. In my opinion, you can never learn enough. And as we face new challenges each and every day, as we've seen, we're through it. We're getting a staff shortage right now. We've uh, mitigated COVID-19. And so people's challenges change. So just be able to continually educate yourself and create those goals that you can continually work towards to ensure that you're enhancing as many experiences as possible.